Hi there, welcome to Floating Dreams. This is a tea time chat all about where did all the beauty creators go? Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today we're doing a tea time chat. I have myself a Clipper tea. This is one of their green tea, energizing, whatever. It's got some things in. In my new mug, they came out with new mugs from Hema. So in case you are unfamiliar with Dutch children's books, meet Siepie. She's a cat. That's part of Dutch children's stories, and there's a certain store here in the Netherlands that every year for Christmas they come out with items that have Siepie, the cat, and Tucky, the dog, on them. I'm a huge fan. I have several items in my wardrobe, mainly my I want to chill during Christmas break wardrobe with them on there, but they did mugs this year. So I try to not go too ham with these things because you could deck out your entire house in these two characters if you'd want to. I believe they now do adult size bedding as well. They only used to do it for kids' beds, but now they do it for adult beds as well, like for a double bed. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good. So this was my purchase this year. So cheers. Because today I wanted to chat to you about where are all the beauty creators going? Mainly because I watched a video the other day from Angelica Nykvist, who has announced that she's going to quit YouTube in the sense of it being her full-time job. She will still be uploading videos, but her focus is going to go to her makeup brand, Singe, it seems. At least that's what I got out of her video. And she did a video explaining why she is making this decision. But she's, of course, not the only one. Sometimes I'm really struggling to find good beauty content creators here on YouTube, and I sort of feel like I'm starting to become like one of the very few people who are still like doing mainly makeup videos and who haven't shifted away from making like makeup reviews and chatting about products to like commentary, like someone like Kelly Gooch. I don't really see her talking about actual makeup anymore. She's mainly talking about what happened in 2016 in the beauty community, or about trends, or like makeup, like beauty insider stuff. And while I think those things are interesting as well, and of course that's then where people go because that's where the viewers go, I think, they are definitely not the only ones who've done so in the past who were like really part of my daily routine. Like I used to watch Angelica Nykvist all the time, Samantha March, Jen Loves Reviews, Kelly Gooch, a couple of other people, and I just feel like for so many creators that I used to follow a lot, their main focus has just become other things. And while I feel that that's only natural, I did want to do a video about why I feel that that's such a shame, really, because I really enjoy consuming beauty content, but I really just want people to like do their makeup and talk about the products. And I've always said very often, like, I kind of make the videos that I would like to watch myself. That's sort of my baseline for this channel. And as long as I'm having fun doing it and you guys love watching my videos, I'll probably keep doing this. I don't really want to shift away. In fact, the moments where, like a couple of years ago, I was still doing a mix of things here on the channel. I didn't focus it only on makeup. I was also talking about fashion sometimes, and I was talking about books from time to time. And I just felt that those videos weren't doing as well on this channel. So that's why I have a second channel where once a week I post about those topics that I was trying to do on here that didn't do very well. So I have a second channel where I do like vlogs whenever I've like traveled or like a fun day out. I'd like to vlog those from time to time. Not anything like consistently, just when things come up. So I do some vlogs here and there. I do some fashion content over there, which is actually started to do better on there than my bookish content, which it's called Floating in Books. So, and by the way, the YouTube channel is, my second YouTube channel is linked in the description box down below all the time. So if you hear me mentioning that second channel, then it's always going to be linked there. But yeah, Floating in Dreams, main channel, blog name, TikTok name, and then Floating in Books is the second channel. So I started as a book channel because I felt like those were the things I really wanted to make content about, and then I didn't post on it for a while, and then I decided to bring it back, and then I started to sprinkle in some other things, and now the fashion content on there actually does better than the bookish content. But yeah, it's still a mix of that. Like, I talk about what I'm reading, I do some TBRs, book reviews whenever I feel I've read enough, and then I sprinkle in the odd fashion video here and there. So there is more content in case you want to indulge a little bit more in what I do and you don't just want makeup content. Just know it is there, but it's in a different place, you could say. But yeah, this channel sort of just grew out of it was the natural revolution of my channel to only focus my channel on makeup products and talking about that. But it definitely wasn't like my first initial thing that I wanted to chat about with you guys. I started a blog years ago, 2010, so 15 years ago now, and mainly out of I just needed a creative spark, and I just started writing about the things that I enjoyed. So it was about music, and it was about nails, and it was about beauty, and it was about makeup, and it was about books, and it was about movies I was watching. Like, it was about a lot of those things, and I just made it this whole thing of like all the things that I couldn't talk about with people in my regular life, I sort of dropped on there, and then that sort of developed quite naturally over time. And that's definitely something I feel that has kept my channel from like growing as quickly as it could have when I started this channel in 2014. I very much started it as a companion to the blog because a friend of mine was like, hey, there are topics where I think it would be better to do a video rather than write about it. So that's how I got started on YouTube. I wasn't posting consistently. I wasn't only doing makeup content for a very long time. And I definitely feel that I would have focused more so on just makeup right when the beauty community was at its largest, I think it would have made a lot more sense for this channel. But yeah, for me, it's been a very gradual process. And now I post 4 times a week about makeup. And I definitely think that because I've had this very gradual process to my entire online journey, that has allowed me to be a little bit more consistent and know exactly what I want to do with my content. Whereas I feel other creators sometimes, because they go like, okay, I'm just going to talk about skincare, or I'm just going to talk about makeup, and then they don't do anything else. I definitely think that that's one of the reasons why we see people shift their focus to other things on their channels. Not because they no longer love makeup, but because the beauty community is like, it's not as big as it used to be in 2016, you know? Back when all the drama happened, a lot of people just came for the drama, not necessarily for the makeup, I feel. So I feel that people who are still watching makeup videos on YouTube is a very small sort of niche interest now, whereas before it was like the biggest sort of community on YouTube, and it no longer is. I think the gaming community is like far bigger. I'm not part of the gaming community, can you tell? But yeah, there's just different niches, and sometimes a different niche takes over. And then what you see is that people start to pivot there, because the idea is, if I want to, especially if like Angelica, you do YouTube full time, that you sort of need to feed the algorithm what it wants, and you need to keep your viewers happy at the same time, because if your viewers don't enjoy what you're doing, you're going to see a dip in your viewership, and then of course your AdSense is no longer the same, and then you can no longer pay your bills. I have the luxury, I feel, that because I've always kept my regular day job, I can just do whatever I want, and I don't necessarily need to do what the algorithm wants me to do, nor do I need to do precisely what, like, I wouldn't call it a majority of viewers, because there's plenty of you who are watching my videos and who seem to enjoy them. I just feel like I see this all the time when there's like an influx of new people. Whenever I do like a more popular video, I always get some people who are less familiar with my content, and that's absolutely fine, but I always feel like that's when I get some more negative comments, that's when I get some thumbs down, because people don't invest anymore in getting to know you as a creator. They just think like, oh, you don't do swatches in every single video, so you need to do swatches in every video. But I have a very firm reason for not wanting to do it, and trying to explain that in a comment when someone only watches one of your videos, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I definitely think like that was also one of the reasons that Angelica said in her video. She didn't talk about it for too long, but I definitely think that that's part of it for her as well, where some of her viewers would like demand that she talked about certain products, or like if she did a video where she showed a lot of products, from like 50 things you can buy at Sephora, people were like, why don't you mention that product or whatever? And it's like, it's just tiring, you know? We are just one person, especially like on this side of the camera. It's a one person show very often. I know for Angelica, like she does have a management, and I think she also, I'm not sure if she still does, but I do know for a while there, she had an editor that she paid to edit her videos and stuff. And those are just opportunities you have when you do YouTube full time, I think. So you can focus on creating the videos, and you don't need to focus on like a lot of the back end and stuff. I think that makes it a little bit easier, but of course that does also cost money, so that you do need to make sure there's a certain baseline there. But it's just tiring, you know? The people who watch your videos can sometimes feel a little bit like, I don't know how you would say this in English, but in Dutch we sort of have this saying, and I think it's actually also like a children's book, but like the caterpillar who's never full. Like they just keep eating and eating and eating, and audiences and algorithms can really feel like that if you're on the creator end of things, where so many people want different things of you. So if you as a creator aren't really good at saying, this is what I can do, and it will still make me happy, what you see with a lot of creators, especially people who just start, like they can like really go for it, and like they post regularly, they build up their audience, they get the opportunities they want, and then they either leave or they start uploading a lot less. Mainly because within a year you're going to burn out. If you do what the algorithm wants, and if you do everything that your viewers could potentially want from you in terms of editing, showing swatches, doing loads of makeup looks, not only is that going to be more than a full-time job, it's exhausting to do that as one person. So I've always come at this from the perspective, like, I know what I can do and what I can deliver, and I hope that for the people watching, there is merit in what I have to offer. But if they don't like what I'm doing, then they can go elsewhere. Like, there are certain things I cannot test out because I look the way I do. Because my skin is dry and sensitive, I cannot be doing, like, cheek swatches of every blush I own. I've seen people do these things, and I'm like, oh my god, your skin! Like, my skin could not cope with it. It would have to recover for a month after, like, taking off a blush and then reapplying my foundation and then your blush, your bronzer, everything. I can barely do it with some eye looks that I sometimes do, let alone my cheeks. Like, I've tried this where I do my makeup in the morning and then, like, film some videos, then go to my bathroom, take it all off, give my skin a little bit of a rest, and do my makeup again. It never goes well. It just never goes well for me. So that's why I stopped doing it. Because sure, I could do it, but it's not worth it wrecking my skin for viewership. It just isn't. So while I know that that would improve my content and it would probably bring a new audience to my channel, it's just something that's not physically feasible for me to do. And I definitely feel within the beauty community, it can be very easy to get swept up in the demand, in what people want. And so I find it's a little bit disheartening actually to hear Angelica say in her video that one of the reasons why she's quitting is because of the demand from her viewers. And I'm like, it's a shame to lose someone who's been such a good voice within the makeup community, I feel. And of course, she's been able to use her viewership and her audience to create different opportunities for herself, which I think has been a really smart business move on her behalf. I definitely think she was clever about that, and she's just like made it something differently. So she did YouTube for a while, built certain things up, was able to do it full time for a couple of years, and now she's moving in a different direction. And I definitely think that that's been a very clever move. So for her personally, I really understand it. But to me, it was like, oh no, not another one. Like, it really feels like another one bites the dust to me. Because, you know, Kelly Gooch has never really made an announcement on her channel. She still does very regular videos. And she still talks about makeup and the makeup industry. But to really see her do her makeup on camera or to chat really about the products that she's using herself, I haven't really seen her do many videos like that. And maybe it's just me missing things. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not watching all of her videos. That could very well be on me. But I also feel like this way about Hannah Louise Poston. Like, she used to do loads of makeup videos, and she's completely gone into like the fashion realm. It feels, at least to me, it feels that way. I'm not sure if I'm right about that. Again, I don't perhaps watch all of her videos, and maybe it's just the things that she now does that I do watch are fashion videos. But I definitely feel like for a couple of the larger creators, Jen Love Reviews only does commentary, and she does these live sessions, which for me, because she's in the US and I'm in the EU, so I'm in a completely different time zone, I can never watch them live. And I've watched a couple of those back, like when she first started doing them. I used to watch them a little bit later, but I just find like there's so much going, you need to wait for the content to happen. So I just stopped watching her channel because I'm like, it's not worth it, because she does them this live style, and if you weren't there live, it just isn't as interesting to watch that video afterwards, I find. That's my personal opinion. Maybe you do enjoy watching it. It certainly works for her. And I definitely think that there's just something there where a lot of the people who I used to watch that create beauty content have just moved into a different direction. Very often I've also find that because I do test out a lot of products myself, it doesn't always make a lot of sense for me to be testing out things because or to watch those videos, I should say, because I want to test them out myself. So if I already hear a lot of opinions about certain products, it doesn't make a lot, it no longer makes sense for me to be testing it out because I'm going to be incredibly biased because I've already heard so many other people saying like, oh, this is the best product ever, or this isn't worth it at all. Like, I definitely have over time come to know what I like a lot myself. So I also know that a lot of the products that are hyped up won't work for me, or products that a lot of people dislike, I might actually really like. So I definitely try to be careful that way, to not be skewed in a different direction. But I also feel like a lot of creators who I used to watch, I don't know whether it was just the fatigue of it, because there is so much makeup around, that maybe that's part of it as well for a lot of them. Like, there's just so much going on. And again, a lot of these creators were doing weekly, sometimes 2 weekly videos of like, these are all the products that are new. And I think that that also adds to the fatigue and like the not being in love with beauty as perhaps as much as they used to. I definitely think that goes into it as well, just the sheer amount. And I think Angelica talked about this a little bit as well. Like, it was just too much, and it was too much for her, even as a single, like, even if you do get sent a little bit of PR, people always want more. They want you to try to test out this thing or that thing, and you can't buy everything, and you can't, like, even if you can write off some of it on your tax return. In my case, I haven't even started a business for this channel, so I can't do that. I cannot get like tax-free stuff because I'm not registered as a company. I'm just really just doing this for fun in my spare time. Also because I'm not like trying to make enough money to make this my job. So I don't want to start a company if I don't have to. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I think that that's part of it as well. Like 10 years ago or so, it's like, there was really this sense of community. Everybody was talking about the same products all the time. Everybody was talking about like the same, like I remember MAC really having a moment. We had, of course, the entire Anastasia Mono Renaissance type of thing. We had the Urban Decay Naked Palette. Like, people would rally behind these products, and you would see so many people, like different people talking about the same thing. So you could really get different perspectives on that one product. Like you could watch Jackie Aina talking about a product to see like if it was friendly for deep skin, or if it was, you know, you had someone with dry skin. But nowadays there's just so much product that it's very difficult to pinpoint like what's the next big thing going to be. And especially because a lot of the big brands that do get hyped up sometimes are US based, it can take a long time for them to become available to me, because sometimes, especially if these brands first start out, they are US only. They do not ship to the EU very often. Like a brand like Hailey Bieber's Rhode, like it really had a moment there for a sec. And especially like a lot of my students and stuff were talking about it. But they get it from like AliExpress or whatever because they cannot get the original. Because I don't think Rhode ever shipped to the EU. So there's always this like boundary there, I feel. And as long, like, and I've always been very like with my channel and what, like I buy what I can get. And certainly I've jumped through some hoops to try and get my hands on certain products. But for instance, I know you can like set up a US address with like a zip code and everything, like a postal box kind of thing. So you can get products shipped from your US address and then they forward it to your EU-based address. That's like an escape some people use sometimes to shop in the US. I think you can do it the other way around as well. And I remember setting up one of those addresses and then I just never used it. Also because it is something that very often doesn't guarantee you get the products, and because the product wasn't shipped directly from a warehouse, the moment it arrives at the US address, you are then dependent on that US shipping company, the forwarding company, to get the products to you. So there is an extra cog in the machine of something that could potentially go wrong. So I just decided not to do that. And then of course we got MONOLITH at some point, who made it a lot easier for me to be shopping a lot of indie brands. So that's what I've been using personally. So I've always tried to stick to using the retailers that make it effortless for me to buy from, rather than like having to like work my way into like different situations to try and get myself a makeup product. Like I'm not that fussed about it anymore, and especially because there isn't like a single product that is hyped up into the high heavens anymore. I also don't know what would be worth it in terms of like expense and time and effort to try and get my hands on those types of things. So I definitely feel that the overwhelm within the beauty community is also part of this, of the reason why we see beauty creators disappearing. Because especially if you're trying to do it all as a content creator, it just leads to burnout. If you try to review every product, if you try to please everyone, if you try to please the algorithm too much, it's a never-ending cycle of just more. And I don't think that that's very healthy as well. So like for me, I just feel like I just have a couple of things in place where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna... Of course, I could talk about new makeup constantly because there's new makeup coming out all the time. And it would probably get me a lot of views because still till this day, my new makeup releases video is one of the best performing ones every single month. But I don't want to, because I don't want that overwhelm. I don't want to go through like, oh no, because if you watch my videos, you know that 95% of the stuff that comes out, I say to, no, thank you. Because we don't need that much makeup in our lives. We don't need, like last year with all the blush releases, can we please stop? Everything looked the same. So for me, it's been very much, I think, also going into what people have been doing with their channels. It's difficult to keep up with the new releases. It's very difficult to predict what might do well. So what are you going to invest your money into? If you do this full time and you're dependent on the views and stuff, because it's very tricky to know like what video is going to get you the most views. And then like a couple of years ago, you could predict like if you talk about product X, people will watch. And that's become really, really difficult, I find. Angelica also mentioned in her videos a couple of like behind the scenes YouTube things, and I kind of disagree there. Like, I'm using the same platform as she does, and my AdSense is pretty much the same. It goes up and down throughout the year, but I know it goes up and down throughout the year because there are different times of year where beauty content simply does better. Right now, like October, it starts to go up in like September, October, when we're getting all the holiday releases, and then it sort of peaks in like December and January, I think because of the holidays and like people buying presents for each other, and then towards like summer it goes down again. So it's sort of like 6 months between October and March where beauty content, I feel, does better overall online. And then in summer, because people are traveling, everybody's just slapping on a bit of sunscreen, nobody's going to do a full glam makeup look unless you love makeup. Over summer, it just kind of goes down. And then it's actually my reason for doing eyeshadow palette month in August. There's 2 reasons for doing it. I started doing it because in summer I have summer break, so it just gives me more time to film videos and to do certain things. And in past years, I also managed to do, for instance, like daily videos and stuff. Didn't do it this year because I was traveling, but I do that sort of themed month at the end of summer because that sort of then helps me to be picked up again by the algorithm a little bit later. And I definitely feel that if you don't like temper your expectations, and if you don't like look into like the long-term things, like I've been making content online for 15 years. For the content I make, this has been pretty steady. My subscriber count keeps growing. My view count isn't as growing along as much as I'd want to. I definitely would have liked to have some more views on every single video. But here's the thing. I'd rather have less people watching me and that those people are there and they enjoy my content than having loads of people watch me and then like they all want something differently from me. You know what I mean? So that's something where I'm like, you know what? Certain videos that I like to do, for instance, this series, the Tea Time Chats, don't get a lot of views. But I always love the comments I'm getting on these videos. I love the conversations that we're having in the comment section for these videos. And that's why I love doing them. Because I feel like this is a type of video that attracts my core audience. Whereas if I do an eyeshadow palette collection video, or if I'm doing like an Essence and Catrice video, I know there's going to be an influx of people who don't watch me regularly, who maybe only are there for that one moment, or who only dip their toes into my content once in a while. And I feel that as a content creator, you need to cater to different types of audiences. You need to cater to like the algorithm and wanting to grow your channel and new viewers coming in. That's part of it. You need to also cater to the people who sort of like come in and out of your content, who sort of have a sense of what you're trying to do, but who don't like watch every single video you do. And then you have the people, your core audience, I feel, who are watching every single video. And that's what I try to do with my content. I try to have videos that cater to all 3 of those things, but that doesn't mean that I have people coming into a video that is meant to be like core audience related, and that, you know, someone then comes in who has only just discovered my channel, who then goes like, why are there no swatches in this video? That's usually the question that I get a lot, why that doesn't happen in every single video. But then I'm like, you just want to watch me once, get out of the content you want, and then leave again. For me as a content creator, that's not going to give me longevity. That's like, then I need to keep continuing to create new content constantly. You need to anyways to keep the algorithm going anyways. But for me, like, just try to put yourself in my shoes. I do a video where I show you some products, which I have already shown in another video, right? For instance, with the Essence and Catrice stuff. What I do when I have a new collection in, I do a video where I do a first impression. That's where I show all the swatches, so that video is as helpful as it can be, so that if these products are out and you see them in store, you know what you would like to get based on the swatches and me putting it on my face for the first time. However, that only tells you part of the story of what those products can do, because makeup needs to last. It needs to sit on your face an entire day. maybe sometimes for several weeks on end, for you to be able to gauge whether something is going to work for you or not. This is something that we've lost in the makeup community, especially if you're trying to only grow your channel and getting new viewers in, and you're always posting about new, because that's what gets new viewers in. That's just the way the algorithm works. We can't change that, unfortunately. If that's all you're doing, then you continuously need to have all these new products in. But I want to test them out. I want to see how they stay on my face. If I do a full day of teaching and I go working out at the end of the day, does the mascara smudge? You know, that's a very valid question to ask yourself, because I think a lot of regular makeup users and people who end up buying the products because they've seen them on your channel are going to use it like that. They're going to wear it to work, to school, to their day-to-day lives. They wear it to parties. They go work out wearing the things. And so I want to test them out and see, does this work for me in the same way as someone else would? And that's why it always takes me so long to review products, to show you things, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes for me that you don't see on camera before I come on here and tell you about it. I do like put all of these things on and just live my regular life. And you might be asking yourself, why don't you just vlog that? I work as a teacher. I cannot vlog my day-to-day life, okay? If I were just a sole person, like working from home or like sitting in an office all day and I have my little corner and I don't have to bother anyone else, but I cannot I just can't physically do that because of like privacy issues and all that. So I cannot vlog at work. And so this is what you're getting, and that's all I can show you. There's no other way for me to do it, but you can know that every single product I ever reviewed has been tested out for multiple weeks on end. Sometimes the product already runs out in that time that I'm using it, but sometimes, like, that's why I do shop my stashes every month. So because I feel a month, it gives me enough time to be testing things out. If I have a lot of foundation in, I will test it for at least a week before I make up my mind and write the review. That's the way I tend to do those things. So also with those Essence and Catrice products, I get them in, I do the video that everybody needs so they can make up their own minds, and then I start testing things out. And then, like you saw on Sunday, I come on here and I give you a sort of rapid fire review of all of the products after I've tested out as many of them as possible. And that's sort of been the way I've been doing content for years. Is this the way to grow your channel, get loads of views? It's not. However, I do know that I have all of those reviews in place, so I can do a video where I just tell you about it. And then that one product that stands out to you, you can go to the description box, click the link in the video. You can see the swatch, you can see it on my face, you can see the full face makeup look, which are things that I cannot put into every single video because it would just up the editing time, and again, I'm doing this besides having a regular job, right? So there's only so much I can do. This channel already takes me 20 to 30 hours a week extra on top of my regular job. So for me, that's another factor. I need to be able to do this besides my day job. And my day job that's step one. And then I have working out and like friends and family and my personal life. And then we get the channel. That's the order and way things work. Because again, sure, could I use the pictures I've taken for those reviews and put them into those videos? Sure, I could. But I already have a perfectly fine blog post for you somewhere else that if you just click the link, you can find it just fine. I mean, I post this, I asked this question in a different video the other day, like, do you want me to have like affiliate links in videos a bit more often so that you can click it and buy it in one go? And a lot of people were like, no, I can just Google the product if I do want to buy it. And I'm like, that makes so much sense to me, especially because I'm part of an affiliate link program for a while now and my status with them has been going down. And I also told them, like, a lot of people who buy my products like through those links are in the EU, and a lot of the links that I can generate through your program are based in the US. We cannot access those websites even, so it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to be putting those links in all the time. I do it from time to time, and then I always forget to mention in the video that those links are there, which is also not helpful. on my behalf, so I'm pretty sure that that's also why it's going down. But it's just been one of those things where I'm like, yeah, if people are truly interested in buying a product, they'll probably ask Google or ChatGPT where they can find it, you know? They don't need me to tell them. And if you do need me to tell you, you need to get off your lazy ass and do something. And that's one of the things where I'm like, a lot of the editing and a lot of the like demands that a lot of people are having come from convenience. It's about ease. And one of the things that I feel like with content creation, a lot of people expect you to do is to make, like, to just be not only entertaining, but to also make it as easy as possible for them to get all the information they want. Now, I've told you already in this video that I'm a teacher, and if there's one aspect of teaching that you should never do is to answer everyone's questions. If people ask, like if my students ask me a question, I always ask them a question in return. So for instance, the question I'm most often asked is this good enough? And my question to them is always, why do you think it wouldn't be good enough? And then they think. And then they need to explain to me what their issues are. So I ask the question to find the question behind the question. And that helps them in their learning process. So I also know that just from another profession that I also do, that getting the direct answer to your question isn't always the most helpful way of helping people. It's not the way in which people learn and improve. So if you want to know, is this a good makeup product? You're going to have to do a bit of work there yourself and not just rely on me to tell you what you should get, because we could have a different skin type. If you have oily skin, I have dry skin, I could say, this is my favorite foundation. You go out and buy it and you go like, she's lying because this is trash. It doesn't stay on my face. But you're forgetting then that maybe you have a completely different skin type. But if you don't realize that, if you don't look at things, if you just blindly follow people's recommendations, and I definitely feel that a lot of the disappointment with a lot of content creators doesn't come from the content creator not doing their due diligence, but the viewers not doing their due diligence. If, like, for instance, Angelica Nukvist, I really enjoy her content, but I've rarely bought a lot of the makeup that she was recommending, especially when it came to complexion, and like, she loves warm tones. She uses self-tanner. I do not. And I have a cool to neutral undertone. So I know that a lot of the things that she recommends probably won't work for me. So that's why I'm always recommending to people, make sure you follow several people for your makeup recommendations and try to find people that are as similar to you as can be, complexion-wise, maybe hair color-wise, eye color-wise, skin type, because all of those things are going to inform you on whether something will work. And if you then have 3 creators who like slightly different things and they all have the same foundation that they love, then you know that perhaps that foundation can also be right for you. And I definitely feel that that part of community, of not just going with the first thing we find, is definitely sort of becoming part of the downfall of the makeup community, because there is very little like sense of community. And I try to build it here on the channel, and I find that that's a lot more important to me, is to see so many like usernames pop up in the comments all the time, and seeing you guys come back and really thinking like, okay, yeah, these people are here because they enjoy my content. And if it's like someone I've never seen popping up in my comments and then they ask me a question like, oh, you this and that, and I'm like, I don't even respond to those anymore, because I know, oh baby, you're just here for just instant gratification. this is not the channel for you. If you want instant gratification, there are about 10 other creators that you can find within a split second who talk about things that you're going to be able to find it. I have things set in place in order to make things to be as helpful as as one single person can possibly be, but there is a limit to what I can do. And I definitely feel that with a lot of the creators who I've seen shifting ways, like, I think if you want to maintain your career and you want to stay a full-time YouTuber, it is healthy if you pivot and do things differently from time to time. And that for some of them, it has meant stopping chatting about beauty products and makeup and stuff like that and just take it into a different realm. And some of them do so really successfully, whereas others do not. Because, I mean, I've noticed this in myself as well. Like, certain creators I will stop watching sometimes, like, altogether, because they pivot and change their content to something that is just not interesting. I've definitely had that with some, like, creators, like, nothing against being a mother, but especially creators who became mothers, and then all of a sudden all we got were mommy vlogs, and I'm like, that's not the content I want. You know, if they started talking about beauty content and then, you know what I mean? So sometimes the shift doesn't always go with the shift in your life, and I definitely think that that's another reason why doing something like YouTube full-time is never going to be like a lifelong career. Not only because the topics and the niches that are popular changes, but you as a creator, as a person, changes as well. And for me, a lot of what goes into my life isn't here because I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I don't need to showcase my entire life online. And I show a lot of it online, but at the end of the day, all you're seeing is surface level. I've never taken you to work. I never take you to dance events. I never take you working out with me. There are a lot of things that I just don't show online because I don't feel that it needs to be shown. And I've always sort of kept that separate from what I've done. And I definitely think that if YouTube becomes your entire personality, that's when it becomes tough. That's when it becomes tough to keep doing what you're doing. And then it becomes tough to stay true to what your channel used to be. And I definitely think that that's why we're seeing these shifts. And I definitely think that that's why a lot of creators are stopping their makeup journeys per se. So I definitely feel that there's a lot of elements here, but that does mean that I am sort of now looking for good recommendations for beauty YouTubers. I have my little list of people who I like to watch on TikTok from time to time. Again, not everything, but I definitely do think that I need some other beauty creators to watch on YouTube. So if there's anyone in particular that you've enjoyed, that you love watching, that you think I should start watching too if I'm not already, then please let me know, because I would love to know what you guys are watching, of course, besides my channel. It could be small, could be a bigger creator, maybe it's a creator I used to watch in the past, and maybe I need to get back into the swing of things, I don't know. But yeah, I also feel like with my viewership, sort of go through cycles of what I enjoy watching, so maybe I can find some new favorites again. So let me know in a comment down below. Let me know in a comment down below how you feel about this. Do you feel also like some people have been shifting their content, or am I the only person? Am I crazy? I don't think so, though. I definitely think there is something to it where, like on the one hand, it's like the natural evolution of what a lot of content creators go through, and at the other end, I do think it has to do with what the online beauty community has to offer, but it also has to do with where the makeup industry is just going as well. So there's a lot that I think that goes into it. So thanks so much for watching this video today. I really hope you enjoyed having this chatty get together and us just having a good time together, because that's what this channel is all about. So I hope you'd like to check back for more, because I make 4 videos a week over on this channel, once a week on my other channel, Floating in Books, and there is a blog floating around as well to help tie it all together. So thanks for being here, and I will catch you somewhere in the meantime. See you in the next one. Bye.